mystery surrounds the high-security lab at the Wuhan Institute of Virology that handles the world's most dangerous pathogens, making it the target of conspiracy theories about the origin of the virus.
So you're 100% confident there was no leak, no accident?
I'm confident there's no leak.
100%?
100%.
The Institute granted NBC News the first independent media access to the lab. Yuan Zhiming is the director. We hadn't encountered this novel coronavirus before, he says. Without having this virus, there's no way that it could be leaked from the lab.
Has anyone at the lab, either personnel or connected to the lab, a third-party contractor, tested positive for this virus?
No.
Nobody?
Nobody.
While there's some skepticism about the lab's claims, 5 leading virologists familiar with lab protocols told us it's improbable that the virus somehow escaped. This is a rare glimpse at the BSL-4 lab, a box within a box, with airlocks on doors and separate filtration systems. Technicians were trained in France and the US, windows to look out and see in.
The China virus, the China plague, Kung flu.
For months, the U.S. and China have been locked in a battle over the origin of the virus and accusations that China delayed or didn't share information.
There's evidence that it came from the laboratory.
U.S. officials have yet to offer credible proof the virus came from the Wuhan lab, a theory that's also being shot down by Dr. Anthony Fauci for lacking any scientific evidence. But scrutiny grew stronger with the leak then release of a State Department cable dated January 2018, raising concerns about lax safety and a shortage of trained staff. What's confusing, according to the director of the Wuhan Institute of Virology, is that the U.S. diplomats visited only once in March 2018 for a seminar that wasn't about biosafety. At that time, the U.S. officials didn't visit any of the labs, says Wang Yangyi, so I'm not really sure what the source of the information was for those concerns. For 15 years, virologist Peter Daszak collaborated with Wuhan scientists like Shuzhong Li, China's Batwoman, to catalog hundreds of bat coronaviruses. But in April, the NIH killed funding for his New York-based EcoHealth Alliance because of its links to the lab.
More or less, all the bat coronavirus work that they've done there has been done in collaboration with us, almost all of it. So we know that they did not have isolates of a virus that leads to COVID-19 in the lab.
China faces intense backlash for failing to contain the virus and for a lack of transparency that has allowed speculation about blame to flourish.
What do you say to somebody who says, I don't believe you?
It is unfortunate that we have been targeted as a scapegoat. Deep down inside, we know that we are innocent.
Janis, you've been on this story literally from the very beginning. What was it like to finally be inside that lab that so many people have talked about?
Well, it felt like it was a long time coming. We had been asking for months, making repeated requests to officials, started to make some headway recently. So when we were finally there, it felt very significant to us. This is a place that people around the world are talking about. It's the source of a dispute for politicians and pundits. And for scientists who have worked with this lab, they've been sitting back wondering why there's been such controversy. We spent close to 5 hours there. We got the tour of the lab. We were shown inside where they wear the positive pressure suits attached to hoses. And it struck me then, looking through the window, that this is where so much controversy is being centered, in this tiny box within a box in the middle of China.
It's so interesting to hear that they were actually, the technicians there were trained here and trained in France as well. All of this, Janis, coming as the World Health Organization, it's against the backdrop of the WHO conducting its own investigation into the origin of the virus. What more do we know about that investigation and where it stands?
Well, we've been told that the Wuhan lab will join what the WHO calls a scientific study, but it won't be investigated as a possible origin for the virus. A larger WHO team that includes international and Chinese scientists is likely to get started in the next few weeks. But already the State Department has said that it expects that the investigation will be, quote, completely whitewashed. Now, overnight, they sent us a statement that didn't exactly address whether U.S. diplomats had actually seen the lab in Wuhan, but it did criticize China's government for its lack of transparency. But scientists like Peter Daszak say that this is why international collaboration among scientists is so important. It's so key because it allows better access to data and information sharing, especially with scientists who are in the place where the pandemic started, as opposed to making policy on scientific research that's based on what people say on the internet.